Luke Audio, take one.
Am I supposed to say that?
You don't have to.
Luke Audio, take one.
And welcome to Bad Cold Outreach, episode 8. I'm Luke.
That's Luke.
And that is Devin.
I'm Devin.
Yes, he is. We're here to critique Bad Cold Outreach because we hate getting these messages. I get messages every single day through LinkedIn. Devin gets them all the time through Facebook, and we're sick and tired of them. And that's it.
I like the cold emails. Those are fun.
Oh yeah, cold emails. I've been getting as much lately, surprisingly. I think I've just been offline. I think that's why. But we have a doozy today. I'm so excited about this. So last week, Devin, you remember what happened last week? We talked about
last week you reached out to somebody.
Yeah, last week we talked to somebody.
Yeah.
Someone who I responded to someone a year and a half after they messaged me. And guess what happened?
What did you do? Okay, wait.
So that's
you reached out to them. You reached out to them a year and a half afterwards. They had sent you a link. So the link had a 404 error.
Yes.
And your response was, "Hey, I couldn't get to the link." Something to that effect, right? Cool.
Yes, okay. It is. So this is my response here. You can see here. So I say, right? So it's the free ebook. I appreciate the voice messages, right? Mm-hmm. I get a response.
Yay.
Yeah, after using Infusionsoft. Oh wait. Yeah. After using Infusionsoft for 3.5 years, I parted way with them and will be launching again with this new tool. So I've temporarily discontinued sending out surveys. Anyway, I thank you for your intent in taking my survey, and I hope you enjoy the ebook. He sent me the ebook.
Yay!
It's rough.
I want to see it.
You want to see the ebook?
I want to see it so bad.
Okay, Devin. Let me actually. I did not plan to do this. Devin, why are you always? I love how at the beginning of this episode you're like, I put no effort into anything. I just let Luke do everything for me. Then you're like out of the blue. Hey, can you just pull this up for me? Just find the file.
You should be able to predict me by this time.
Devin, no one can predict you. That's what makes you special. I almost just opened up The Witcher 3 and started playing just right now. I almost accidentally clicked on that. Okay. Let's look at this ebook.
Let's do it.
Let's see. This should be displaying correctly. You can see
nice.
This okay?
Okay. How to write articles that build your authority. This is ugly. The first page looked nice. Oh, it's getting okay. Aha. Is that a Zig Ziglar quote?
Wait, was it? No, Philip.
Nope, go back one more.
Yeah, it was.
Ah!
Zig Ziglar. I haven't heard that name in a while. Represents. Is he still alive?
I don't know. Mandela effect.
Is that the Mandela effect? Yeah. So I didn't even read it. I just.
Okay, so I will point this out. One thing that I definitely have gotten wrong many times, because I've made a lot of ebooks, that he does right consistently, is just having the same font on every page.
Yeah.
So that's one thing he does good here.
So and here's the thing. It's the problem I have with it, and here's a couple of notes actually when giving, because part of the outreach is giving the free offer. So if the free offer is unreadable, no one's going to read it. Same thing if you gave an audio offer and the audio is terrible, no one will listen to it. Not a single person. Devin.
I have an audience of 10 that says otherwise, Luke.
Anyway, but the thing is, so there's a couple of notes here. First of all, the text needs to be easily readable. That means choosing. Yeah, exactly. So that means the font needs to be pretty much normal. It needs to not be fancy at all.
Right.
This is an example of a fancy font.
Roman, you do
Arial.
You do something common.
Very standard looking font that's easily readable. You make the text not this big because it takes me an hour to read one word because I have to swing my whole head across the paper. And obviously I'm being a little jerky. Luke's
the only person in the world who's like, there's a large headline. I can't read it. There's too much there.
I hate how large headlines, okay?
It's a word.
Shut up, Devin. The other thing is white space.
Yeah.
White space. White space is the most important thing in design. You need blank space.
Yep.
And that's
this goes
just something
way too close to the edges.
right?
There's also a point here too. If I actually liked your ebook and I wanted to print it out, I couldn't print this out.
Right.
It doesn't have proper margins.
Yeah. I mean, it just wouldn't look right.
Well, no, it doesn't have proper margins, so it won't print because a standard inkjet printer won't get the last two letters of your.
No, I think it just add on, wouldn't it? I'm pretty sure.
Not if it goes to the font.
I guess it depends on your print settings.
Yeah.
Because you can scale. That's true. In the print settings, it would scale automatically unless you changed it. The other thing is, we talked about this in our trainings. Is that when creating an ebook, you need it to be easily readable, but you need it to break up. Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
You need it to be easily broken up, so that way when I'm looking through it, I'm scrolling, I'm just seeing a wall of text and some headlines. Nothing grabs my attention except the images. But then I'm like, what is this all about? And I make your audience curious. But then I'm in the middle of the ebook and I have no context for where I'm at. So
I'm also going to point out, as far as design goes, having that articles by Eric on top, big mistake.
By what?
It doesn't look articles by Eric. It's on the top of every single page.
Yeah.
Like we did not make this look aesthetically. And this is another point too. I talk about this a lot. And partly depends on your market that you do not actually have to have a pretty ebook. You have to have a functional ebook.
Yeah, we're not talking about making it pretty. We're talking. Yeah, exactly.
I've had really nice high-end fancy looking ebooks that were necessary for the market, and I've had really ugly put together ebooks that did just as well. But there are some certain rules that you just don't break. And
and so that's the thing.
Nobody told Eric about those.
Right. And that's the thing, is that the content might be very good, and I get that formatting can be a nightmare to someone who doesn't understand formatting. And so I understand why it looks this way. But also avoid the same mistake and just talk to somebody who knows a bit about formatting.
Get somebody, I wouldn't know who, I don't know who does this. Get somebody to make your ebook for you. And
I don't know. Wait, actually, when I export it, I think it's going to be this way. Yeah. I don't know anyway. I'm going to put myself on the other side just to mess with myself and annoy me myself.
Yeah, you will. You'll forget to until it's already been done. And you're like,
until I get to this part, I'm like, I just already organized it, so I'm not going to change it.
Gotcha. I downloaded the ebook and am
do it in a Luke voice.
Gotcha. I downloaded the ebook and am going through it right now. Thanks for sending that over. Do you have a place where I could learn more about your story? ? I saw you mentioned it in one of your previous messages and would love to read more about you, how you triumphed through struggles. And he didn't respond to that.
Well, yeah, I just sent it. That's why. It's been literally 2 hours.
Shame on him. He's got to have that app on his phone. He's got to be.
But so that was a thing, because like I really want to understand this guy, because he hinted at like the really interesting story. I'm like, you're a conundrum, and I want to understand you. You say you're a ghostwriter, but everything I see that you've written is awful. But you seem to have a really great story, so I'm like, what's going on? I really want to, and this like came from a very genuine place of like, I want to understand what's happening, and I want to understand where you're coming from and what your processes are. Like, I just need to understand. Because at this point, I just will not rest until I understand what's going on in this guy's life.
I just had this vision. This may or may not happen. I would love it if this happened. This could be the entire reason that, like, bad cold outreach exists.
Okay.
What if we could get Eric to have some good cold outreach? What if we could work with him and make this relationship and get him some good cold outreach, and then we could have a success story out of this?
Let's do it.
That would be worth it.
This is a saga,
series.
Devin.
Yes.
We have made a saga, the rival of Star Wars.
That's not hard.
Oh! Well, not OT. New Star Wars, yes. I mean,
Nobody ever put very much thought into those, okay?
The newest ones.
Any of them.
So we're gonna probably move on to our next one then.
I made Luke mad.
Not mad, just disappointed.
I felt like we've talked about that before in overthinking.
I
If we haven't, we
thought
should.
you said that you liked the original Star Wars.
I like every Star Wars.
Oh, I'm just not remembering then.
Well, then we'll talk about it in an overthinking episode.
We'll talk about it in an
That'll be
overthinking episode. So
Yeah.
go subscribe to Overthinking Podcast
fun.
at
Cross promotion.
overthinkingpodcastshow.com. It's the best website you'll ever see in your entire life. That is a guarantee, a Luke
Planned
Maxwell
cross-promotion.
guarantee. Let's move on to something a little more lighthearted, though, shall we?
That wasn't lighthearted enough.
Even more lighthearted, over 9,000 lighthearted.
We're gonna watch like Disney Channel now.
Yo, that's not lighthearted. That's sad. Disney Channel movies are
I
sad.
didn't say movies.
Disney
Okay.
Disney's sad. Anyway,
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
so I want you to read this, Devin.
I
This
got more free foods.
gosh,
No, it does sound free.
Devin
Got more
decided
free
to
foods.
Devin decided to eat while we were
I
recording.
didn't decide. It was made for me.
Devin decided to accept food while we were recording, and then eat said food. Oh, that looks
Yeah.
really good. Now I'm
Yeah.
oh,
I
dude,
haven't-
just reminded
I-
me
no,
I
I
haven't
haven't-
eaten.
And no, Luke, I haven't touched it the entire time we've been recording because I am polite, okay?
Yeah, you
and they
are.
just gave me more free foods.
All right. Well, let's read this then,
All right.
shall we?
Curate. Robert.
So-
Is this one good? Is this gonna be a good cold outreach?
Well, let's see.
Okay. Interested in being a guest on a podcast? Luke, my name is Kieran, and I am starting a podcast where I talk to business owners in the San Diego community about their experiences starting their own businesses. I was wondering if you would be interested in coming on and being a guest. I see you have a ton of experience running your own podcast for 2+ years and would love to connect and hear about everything you are up to. Scroll.
scrolling.
If you are interested, let me know, and I would be happy to give you more information. I look forward to connecting. Best, Kieran. I really like this.
See, right?
That's all I'm saying about it. I really like this.
Well, guess what?
This
I
is
responded.
A good example. This is an example of good cold outreach.
I
really like it.
responded, and we have something scheduled for next Tuesday.
Nice.
This
'Cause
Tuesday,
that was good. So let's go back up. I want to talk about.
Yeah,
that.
no, let's talk about each line.
He did something really. Scroll up more. He did
More?
something real. Yeah. He did something really interesting that I haven't seen people try in cold outreach before. That just makes sense to do.
Mm-hmm.
Is he gave it a genuine headline.
Well, it's an in-mail. He in-mailed me through LinkedIn.
And then okay. So then.
So it's literally
then
a
that-
subject line,
So then that subject line is really well formatted.
right?
Questions are an easy way to get good subject lines. It's something that, yes, Luke would be interested in, and he knows Luke would be interested in it because Luke's a podcaster, and he knows that because he did his research, and it's all just riddled throughout his... This was really
Yeah.
good.
Yep. So here's a couple. Here's actually
And this
I
was
do-
actually really good without being extremely personal. He could have still done it with a bot.
This
That's
is
awesome.
literally. I would be highly surprised if. I mean, this is clearly automated. Not necessarily a bot, but he clearly had a copy and paste.
Mm-hmm.
But it worked. You look at this entire, and this is the coolness of this, right? He obviously had a paste here. He had a paste here with how many years, and then he just inputted. He typed in 2, right? And then boom, and then he has the rest of this paste. So he basically just has 2 inputs where he types my name and he types the amount of years I've been podcasting.
But it feels so personal. And
Yeah. But because of that, like because of this podcast, if he said, I see you have a ton of experience running your own podcast, I would love to connect. I'm like, cool. He said, for 2+ years, I'm like, whoa, you read my, you had to actually read.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and you know what? The funny thing is, like 3 days ago, I updated my LinkedIn bio, my LinkedIn profile to have my podcast on there with how long I've been running it. So I just showed up in his searches. So I'm a brand new search for him.
Kieran Robertson, you get an A++. This is
So-
the best cold outreach I've ever seen on this show.
Okay, I would actually give it a 9 out of 10. It's not a
Okay.
10. You know why? Because he didn't say what he was talking about.
On
So
his
here's what I
podcast.
would.
I mean, he said a ton of stuff though.
So he says
Like,
no, and this is what I would. So this is what happened when I first read it. Okay, I saw it interesting being against my podcast. I'm like, yeah. As long as it's applicable to me, I'm like, yeah, of course. I love being on podcasts. So then I read it. I'm like, okay, starting a podcast where I talk to business owners in the San Diego community. The first thing that popped in my mind is that, wait, this sounds like someone who has no idea how to podcast. Like that was because I've had this same line sent to me so many times. But essentially, I mean, and once I looked at his profile, I realized this wasn't the case. Usually they're kids, and I say kids like people my age or around my age.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, I'm just going to talk to this type of person. They got the right idea. They have some kind of niche, but they don't have a very clarified purpose. And that's what I really like to see when someone pitches me a podcast, is that I want you to tell me the goal. Like, why does this exist? To talk to business owners? Cool. Why? To learn from, like, and that's why.
Yeah, I'm just gonna challenge you on this, Luke.
I'm saying that's what I like.
Everybody knows when you're doing cold outreach, you want to keep it as short as possible,
Yes.
and this is already really long. So asking him to add more information is a big mistake. And what he's doing, and from a sales perspective, is actually really intelligent. I've done this in so many different sales settings where you set them up to have a question and then ask them if they have any questions.
True.
Which is what he did. So the only question that you could possibly have is, what is your podcast about? And if you asked that, I'll bet he would have had a preloaded response for that because he baited it.
True. Okay. That's fine. I accept that. I'd say like in the things that whenever I ask people to be on my podcast, I say it's communicate with confidence. I run a show called Communicate with Confidence, with the goal of, and wait, what do I say? Darn it, I haven't sent that message in a while.
Luke doesn't have guests anymore because he doesn't.
I actually do have guests. They're all just from personal relationships. I usually say, I have a show called Communicate with Confidence where we talk about communicating with confidence. That's usually I do that like in a tongue-in-cheek way, but like, yeah, I have a show called Communicate with Confidence where we talk about, communicating with confidence. And then depending on the person, I'll relate it to them. That's usually how I go. It's like,
that makes sense. I even tell people when talking about our business, I tell people, we run we help businesses build fan bases, and I always tell them right afterwards, and that's what I tell people who don't care.
Well, exactly.
Like, what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, because there's a lot to explain there, and when I say that, people who don't care stop asking questions, and people who care ask questions.
Yeah.
And because I've said that, now they ask questions because they feel like they're admitting they don't care if they don't.
Yeah. Yeah, true. And I think the real reason, I just thought about it, I think the real reason why that bugs me is I'm not emotionally invested in this. I'm practically, like, logically, I'm like, there's no downfall to this. I have...
Did it get you?
What do you mean?
Did it get you?
What do you mean?
Respond?
Yeah, well, yeah, I responded, yes.
Okay. Did you end up scheduling time to do the... Okay.
No, I'm saying, yeah, it worked. No, yeah.
From our sample size of 1, this is a perfect cold outreach.
At 100%, yes.
From our sample size of 1, it is perfect.
Yeah, I know. And I think there's a couple things with that. One is that I got this yesterday, and if I was emotionally if he like had a very concrete goal that was like, if he's like, yeah, if I talk to business owners in San Diego about their experience starting their own businesses for entrepreneurs just getting started during COVID, I'm like, wow, like, yeah. And I would have responded right away with like, that sounds like a fascinating idea. I really want to help you out.
That would be a terrible podcast idea. It would have a lifespan.
I made that up. I know. I made that up off the top of my head. Okay. Sue me. I haven't taken an improv class.
We will now be suing Luke Maxwell.
But that's the only thing. And I think that if there was a chance, there's a chance I would have forgotten about this if I didn't plan on talking about a bad cold outreach. Because I saw the notification. It was in the middle of where I was doing something. I swiped away the notification. I thought, oh, okay, I want to talk about that on bad cold outreach, because I looked over the message. I'm like, that looks like a good message. And
that's funny. Luke's like, this looks like a good message. We should play it on bad cold outreach.
Well, yeah, because I wanted to, we want to showcase some good cold outreach. We want to kind of,
see that we're not just like
slamming
heinous,
people,
and we don't just attack absolutely everything, and we don't think that cold outreach as a principle is bad.
Yeah.
No, this is good. Well done.
But yeah, so and I just want to quickly dissect the points that I really like. First of all, he did something which is kind of taboo, is that he started with "My name is Corin," which and that's not common. He also missed a comma, which I didn't notice until now.
That's not what he started with though, because he had a subject line.
Very smart, very smart. Yes, true. I'm starting a podcast, right? So he clearly stated his intentions,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'm like, okay, this is why you're contacting me. You have a very clear intention. And then he followed up with, this is my intention. This is what I want from you, right? This is why I want you. So he showed that he cares about the quality of what he does. Because I think that's something we've been repeating through all of these episodes, is when it comes to mass outreach, like the one guy who wanted referrals for like his social media, or he's like wanted like people to, he wanted to be able to refer people for marketing work, whatever. I'm like, you send an automated message, so you don't care about who I am. So you don't care about the quality of your work. So obviously that's a huge no for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be invested. So he's like, okay, this is why you want me. And that's actually something at the beginning of each of my podcast interviews. I always introduce my guests and I tell up front, why did I have them on? And I say, I had this, like, I was just the last lady I interviewed. I said I had her on because, and then I what did I say? I said something around like she seemed like a perfect example of like passion and honesty, or like something like that. I forget what it was, but I named a very specific thing. I'm like, this is why. I don't just have her on because I want to increase my clout. Is that this stuck out to me? And I've really
I want to
like,
increase my clout.
well, I mean, duh. That's why people create content. And if you're interested, let me know, and I'd be happy to give you more information. It doesn't feel like too much of an ask. He
Mm-hmm.
didn't say to schedule something right away. He didn't say like, when is your time free? And he just says, I look forward to connecting. It just seems so light. Like it just, I wanna analyze this more. I'm probably gonna steal this and adapt it
It's
to my
just
own
really
podcast.
good. Yep.
It feels lighthearted. It feels casual, but at the same time, it feels professional. It's just such a good message. It really is. Even without like the emotional ask at the end of this, which would increase the length and which actually would make it longer than this paragraph, which then which might make me not read it all, because this first paragraph would be long, you know. All in all, I'd say 9.5. I would say, and then 0.5 is just because I'm not emotionally invested. Because you know me, I care about being emotionally invested in something, and that's just specific to me. I'm sure that many other people would not notice or care.
I feel like it gets 100%.
That's
A++.
fine. We'll average it 9.75 then.
Okay.
It's still an A plus.
Regardless, this is still our first passing grade.
It really is. It's our first anywhere above a D or an F.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it got me. It really
Do you want to
got
let
me.
him know that when you're like interviewing? Let him know.
Oh,
that he was...
totally. No, I'm definitely gonna talk. I'm definitely gonna
Yeah.
tell him. I said, hey, by the way, we had it on your show, Bad Cold Outreach. No, not because your message was bad, because it was so good, I couldn't help but talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, I just doxed myself. Well, I'm gonna have to blur that out in post. Darn it.
Uh-oh, what'd you do?
I showed my personal cell phone and email.
Ooh.
Nope, we're gonna block it out. No one's ever gonna see it.
It's okay, guys. I already have them. I'll put them in the description.
Yeah, but I feel like, well,
He said yeah.
no, I didn't. This just shows how little I actually listened to Devin.
I said if you blur them out, I'll put them in the description.
I know. I heard it afterwards. I was thinking about what I was about to say next. I was thinking about me, Devin. I wasn't thinking about you.
I was thinking about you too. I was talking about you.
I think that's it. Yeah, this is it. This next week, we're either gonna have an update on our ebook wielding, audio wielding man of mystery, or we're gonna have a series finale, which will be fascinating, like a culmination. Like this is gonna be a wild ride. I tell you, like this is gonna be really interesting. So I feel like we need a segment of the show now where it's our audio guy. The guy who left the tales from the guy who left the voice message.
Yeah.
And I like it. I like
We'll
it.
just
I like
keep
it.
following up with that every time we can.
Yeah, no, really. Like I'm so invested in this right now. I really am. Like I just can't help but want to understand
See
everything.
This is for everybody listening. If you actually send us your bad cold outreach for us to help you and to we get
Yeah.
invested.
Like I care a little too much. So yeah.
And you can send it. You can just send us the bad cold outreach that people have sent to you, or you can send us your cold outreach and we can review it on air.
Yep. And if you're shy, we'll do it anonymously.
And if
Where no one will
you're-
know who we are, but they'll know who you are.
I was gonna say if you're super duper shy.
We blur out our own faces, voice pitch our voices, but you're completely exposed to the world.
I was gonna say if you're super shy, then we'll tell you it'll be anonymous, and then we won't make it anonymous. That way you can learn to get out there.
True.
Good for you. Mm-hmm.
True. But yeah, that's it. Subscribe if you haven't already for the conclusion for this trilogy or for the continuation of the series. We don't know. We don't record these ahead of time. So, I mean, we do a little bit, but we do not batch these episodes. So this is all happening live. Like every week, this is actually happening. You can't make this stuff up. This is going to be fascinating. I can't wait. What if he just never responds? I'll be so sad.
I know, right?
I'm going to cold call him. Like, I'm going to literally cold call him if he doesn't respond. I'm not even joking.
Do it.
Thanks for watching. Tune back next week. Share this with your friends.
Oh, you're talking.
Thanks for watching me, Devin. Thanks for looking at me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
He complimented my shirt earlier. I lied. He didn't. He criticized it. Well, okay, that's it. We're done.
You know what's funny, Luke? I'm in no position to criticize your shirt either because my pants are the same exact color as my shirt.
And you've worn that shirt like 5 weeks in a row.
I wear this shirt like once a week.
On Sundays when we record.